How you doing? Are you thinking about buying a new portable generator? Westinghouse sent me this 5300 watt model that has a pretty neat feature I think you're gonna like from the get-go. This puppy runs on gas or propane. Ready? Let's go. This came FedEx ground. The packaging was good. This thing is not damaged, and well, you know how the shipping companies drop things. First thing, I love the winch. I got a winch and now I don't blow up my back or my knees, but the wheels have ball bearings, roller bearings in them. At this price point, you're gonna get a solid wheel, which for most everyone is just fine. You're gonna roll this out of your garage into the driveway, fire it up. If you want to use this on a construction site with rocky soil and dirt and stuff, you might want to upgrade the tires to air-inflated tires. But regular people, you know, your average person, this is fine. So while this is in the air, let's talk about this, and that way I don't have to bend down if you're watching my videos. Anyway, front panel, very similar to a lot of other ones I've seen, but a couple things I like here is the power outlets have covers on them, and they're rubbery and they seal, which makes a big difference. As your generator ages, if you leave it outside, or even here in my garage, bugs like to put eggs inside little holes. If you have like mud wasps and things like that, they like to get in here, so you can cover this and keeps the bugs out. And dust. I mean, this is electrical contact. You want it to be clean. So I like that. This is an L1430R, which is a standard for hooking up to transfer panels. I have a transfer panel in my basement, I'll show you. But that's a 4-prong L1430R. It's a good thing. If you want to hook this up to your camper, it has the built-in camper one. A lot of generators I see don't have this, and this is nice. You go out in the woods, need some power. Then we have two regular old 110 volt, and these are rated for 20 amp. Your household outlets are usually 15 amps. So if you wanted to, in an emergency, run like your refrigerator and a deep freezer and that, you would plug into here. Digital hours meter, that actually makes a big difference because then you can tell when you need to change the oil, things like that. If you ever want to sell this again, you can say, oh, it only has 30 hours on it. You know, really helpful. On, off, I kind of like a really big on-off switch. You'd be surprised in some generators, you can't find the on-off switch. This is the part I really like on this machine, dual fuel, propane or gasoline. There are pros and cons to both of them. We'll talk about that when we fire this puppy up. In the box comes a regulator, gas regulator, and hose length. This hooks up to your propane tank. And right here, I like this has a nice plastic cover. We're gonna connect this to here. Don't use Teflon tape. I see that this is a compression fitting. You don't need Teflon tape on here, okay? Before you fire this puppy up, put oil in this, 3/4 of a quart, 10W30. This oil filler is not the most easy accessible place, but that's kind of typical for generators, so kind of comes with the territory. It's really important to change the oil. I do mine twice a year, run the engine every month, and check that oil every time you fire it up. I really like that this has a fuel shutoff for the gasoline. For when you want to store this, you shut it off, run the engine out, your carburetor will not get gummed up. Overhead valve engine, 274 cc. This is typical of what I see in generators. The spark plug is really easy to access right there, which is nice. The exhaust is covered with a nice grill. Sometimes I've seen where the muffler is exposed and you can easily walk by that and maybe burn yourself, so I like that. This gives some space, saves you a trip to the emergency room. That would be good, wouldn't it? Hey, real quick, this generator isn't available everywhere. It's only available in certain stores. Click the little down arrow below my video. There'll be text there with links where to buy and also some more information about the generator. Thanks. Nice and solid handle. And you don't have to unclick it to move it. You just down or up and it stays up. Nice. When you're going to fill this with oil, put it under a piece of cardboard. I've had some oil spills, so learn from me. Dipstick, I like that. So yeah, the oil fills in kind of a tight place, not unusual for generators, but look here, Westinghouse sends you some oil and the funnel filler to fill it up. This is why you put cardboard in, because I poured too much oil in, see? So this is a generator I've had for 15 years. It's much bigger than what I need to run my house. But just look at the size difference between the Westinghouse. It folds down the handles. This one, the handle is rigid. This thing is quite heavy to lift up. This one is much nicer. I just like the compact size here compared to the beast here. So I'm trying to declutter the garage. I actually have a video about it. I'll link below to that. But just the idea of being able to tuck this underneath the workshop table, because this one won't fit under there. Doesn't work. So smaller, compact, fires up your house. Giant beast, it's one more thing I gotta find a place for. So this engine has two different watt ratings, one for gasoline, one for propane. Propane puts out a little bit less power than gasoline, but let's talk about that. I have a 2-bedroom home. It's right through that window there. And I have a 6,500 watt generator I've been running. And when I fire that puppy up, I can run my whole house and the meters on the transfer panel barely move. So this generator, I think it'll be fine for your average home. It's not going to run your central air conditioning. It's not going to run an electric clothes dryer, but it'll run a TV, it'll run your microwave, it'll run the refrigerator, it'll run your well pump, which is the important things. Oh, that sounded kind of cool. These props are heavy, but let's talk about gasoline versus propane. I'm gonna put the propane down because it's heavy. The generator I have now is a gasoline generator. I think that's just fine. There's a couple things that worry me. When you're pouring, you have to refill your generator after it's been running and it runs out of gas. The engine is still hot and you're pouring fuel onto near a hot device. You have to be careful about that. The other thing with gasoline is gasoline goes bad. Gasoline does not keep for years and years. You have to also put a stabilizer in here. I put this in for all my small engines, my chipper shredder, the rototiller, the lawnmower. Gas stabilizer saves your engines. But you have to kind of remember to do that. You're like, oh, did I put the stabilizer in? And then after 6 months, this gas is best refreshed. So I'll pour this into the tank of my car, drive that off, go fill this up again, put the stabilizer in. I'm ready for another 6 months. This sits in the corner of your garage. These are 20 pounders. You can also get 100 pounders. It fills up, it sits there, and it's good to go. Propane does put out slightly less power, but I don't think that's a deal breaker at all. It also burns cleaner, but it didn't make that good noise. I like the idea of both in one machine. I actually really like that idea. So I'm gonna try and make that bang again. Let's see. Here we go. Always run your generator outside, please. Don't run it in your garage. Don't run it in your basement. Don't run it in or near your house. You can kill your family and you can kill yourself. Please, okay? Outside, then start it up. All right, let's see if we can power my house. Power cord in, lock to turn. transfer switch right next to my breaker panel. If you want to do this right and safe, you will have a transfer panel or what's called a generator interlock. I have videos about that I'll link to below and at the end of the video. Let's have a faux power outage here, okay? I will turn these off. So now you have to run your house on your generator, and with a transfer panel, well, this one at least, you pop these switches up. Our basement lights come on. Let's see what else we can turn on. If you've seen my shop before, it's powered by generator right now, which is a beautiful thing. I really don't want to share my contents of my fridge, but it works. This is nice. It has a filter. If I can get it out. There we go. But a gas filter right at the get-go where the fuel is going in. So if you get any debris going in there, it doesn't get into your carb. Set to gasoline. Switch on. So I don't know if you can notice, but when it's gasoline, when it's running on gas rather than propane, the engine is louder. At this price point, nice machine. I like the idea of the dual fuel. If you want more information about this, in the notes below here is all sorts of purchase information and more specs on this. You might have to hit that little down arrow thing. Right here, depending on how you're watching this, should be some more of my generator review videos. I'm going to be looking at some other Westinghouse equipment that they are sending me. That should be right there. Right there. I'll see you in the next one.